Alright, we are live. So yeah, let's see. Last time we had finished the phase and gone exploring. And now we have returned from that exploration and we're setting up a motor factory. Now the first thing I actually want to do is just click. Now my dimensional depots are substantially less embarrassing. And if I get more, I could get
speed increased. All of the kinetic and thermal energy released during matter conversion has now been repurposed to aid with dimensional shifting, allowing several parts to pass
let's
through.
increase the stack size again. That'll be helpful.
Have you tried making the door?
I assure you that would be a most unhealthy action for the pioneer to take.
Interesting. Alright, so there we go. And this requires 100, so we're going to have to wait for another batch of that. But in the meantime, we have our schematics for the motor factory, and I've written down the general gist of it in the notes. So now we need to find 500 coal, 500 iron ore, 187 copper ore, and 140 caterium ore. So that's going to be like 2 nodes of iron and coal, 1 node of copper and caterium. And I believe even impure nodes should be fine for caterium. Alright, I don't have radars or anything, so you have to load up the map and show me iron, coal, caterium, and copper. Alright, I see a good spot right in the middle, like, where even is that? Like there-ish, maybe? And it's kind of hard to tell exactly, but that one's got everything that I need. I'm trying to find if there's anything closer, but I'm not immediately seeing one. Maybe something down south? Yeah, actually there's iron, check. Copper, check. Okay, no, but that only has 1 coal node, so that's no good. Alright, yeah, let's go for this one, which is sort of central in the map. It's quite a distance a ways, but that's what traveling is for. Let's finish this up first before we head out. Let's just craft all of these. And yeah, the fact that they're coming in at double speed is already making a significant impact in just how many of these I can do in one batch. Alright, stack size increase. Done.
Dimensional expansion increased to 300%.
So now all of this stuff is going to be going.
Matter manipulation technology allows the dimensional storage to deconstruct all matter to the subatomic level,
and I should check
its
power.
elementary particles until the part is recalled.
It's fine. Power is fine.
Shallow matter contains window symphonies and void songs and deep echoes.
Alright.
It is fascinating what one can find out simply by looking closer.
Time to head west. Or east. The opposite of west. Alright, so we head over here. And keep on jumping along. And it is going to be quite a distance away, unfortunately. Not all that much Caterium in the world. Which I should be a bit careful with. I've been using Caterium somewhat willy-nilly so far, in like every opportunity I get, but it isn't free. Alright, let's do that. And we're... oh wait, I need to bring power. But I have power lines over here that I can start from, so that's fine. Alright, we're just gonna glide over those poison pillars real quick. And keep on traveling along. Alright, so those are the power towers there. So we just need to get over to them. And keep on going. Alright, so we climb up this. And let me up. Let me up. And now, if we are very careful, we... okay, no, we messed that up. We need to do that to get momentum in the right direction, and we can start taking the zip lines up. And this will take us part of the way at least. We also need to head south. Alright, so we're here. Now we pretty much need to, go a little bit further east, but then mostly south. So let's follow this the rest of the way. It'd be really nice if I could get like 5 inches higher up and hook onto it, but I can't. Alright, so now we can just get up here and get moving. And this is the last one of these. So we just need to start placing more of them as we go. Alright, so we're up here. And heading southeast-ish is good. Pop that in. And zip line along. We might face plant into a tree. We face planted into a tree. Alright, well, we're just going to have to walk along normally then. There's a Mercer Sphere close by. I'm not too worried about it. We can go on another Mercer Sphere exploration hunting session soon, but not urgent by any means. Alright, I see a spot where it's able to be placed there, so let's do that. And now we follow along to that. Just like right in the middle of a tree. Sure, apparently that's a legal placement. Just need to get out of that tree so that I can see what on earth is going on. And oh boy. That's not safe at all. Alright, let's get out of those poison pillars and keep on placing these. Gosh. This whole area is just loaded with poison pillars. Yeah, we almost died there. And there are poison plants too? What on earth? Why? Why is this just the most poisonous area on the entire map? Alright, stand over here, we should be roughly safe. And now I'm trying to figure out where exactly we go from here. So let's see, those are the craters, that's this. So we do need to head a good bit further east. So let's just place that over there. And get moving. Slowly regenerating health from the poison pillar incident. And now we can get back on top of this. And we're very close to being able to automate fabric production, and with that, the gas filters. So that will be handy to have. Let's head over this way. This is also southeast, and so it's also the right direction. We also bumped into the side of a random tree and got knocked off of our zip line. Really wish that wouldn't happen. Alright, let's climb back up. And now it's pretty much due west of here, or due east of here, rather. Can we get this up there? That would be cool. If we could get it to line up. There we go. And now we just have to successfully get on that zip line. Which looks like it'll be easiest from here. And now up we go. Gosh, zip lines are so cool. Alright, while we're up here, we can grab this nice convenient purple power slug. Let's grab that. Yoink. And now we are way above the terrain at this point. So we just keep on heading east. Yeah, I can't get line of sight on anywhere to place this from there. Let's place it there. And keep on flying over. There's a hard drive there, which I probably haven't gotten, being here where it is. Place that over there. And then I guess we'll drop down to grab this hard drive. At least see what it requires. It requires power. Fortunately, I have power. Or I should, if I could reach up there and grab that one. Which apparently it is too far away to do. So we need to just bring that power down there, and then we can get a random hard drive for our troubles. Not gonna complain about a random free hard drive. Get up here, bring that down, and now we just boop and grab. So now we get rid of that, and let's get rid of the crash debris. None of this stuff looks interesting. Alright. So, now we have to get back up to the previous height. And make our way over just like a tiny bit further to the spot where we're going to be building this factory. Alright, that didn't quite work properly. Gosh. Could you please just let me grab the ladder? Thank you. so then we have this, which goes along here. And there's a Mercer Sphere. May as well grab it since I'm literally right on top of it.
Witness the deep and sing for us.
I am still unable to initiate communication. How are you
So
doing?
this is, I believe, the spot. Yes, there's the coal nodes.
We sacrificed our blood and our temples and let the metal in from the void to eat our flesh.
That's a lot to unpack. How do you tap into these inner currents?
Consume our blood, worship at our altars,
So we do that,
curve the melody.
and let's set up
I do not understand.
the
Blood
coal nodes.
frequencies paint straight lines. The blood is a teacher. Each altar is a window.
Processing data.
That's one. And here's another. Alright, so that is that. And let's also set up... Alright, look, a hard drive. I guess I will grab this one too. Wasn't intending this to be a hard drive grabbing expedition, but I guess they're just sort of around. And it's a free one. So not going to say no to that. That Mercer Sphere is far away. Not going to bother with it. Alright, so now we need to set up the basic factory floor. Can we get rid of that? Alright. Poison plants in the general vicinity should be cleared out. And that looks fine, I guess. And now we need to do more power shards. And more power shards. I don't want to do too many because I actually... How close am I to getting Summer Sloop stuff actually going? I do that, and I throw in one and some circuit boards. Alright, that's not completely impossible. So yeah, we want to save on crafting power shards for now because it's not going to be too long until we can double them. Alright, so let's get a foundation in, snap to the world grid, and ramp up just a little bit. And this area is rather low, so that should be fine. We're gonna have to blow up some mushroom tree things, whatever this is. But we do that. And then this can be the start of our factory. So we get this, which is 240, and we need this to be faster than usual. And we're going to have to overclock the other one a fair bit more. So 2 shards gets that up to 240, which is good enough. We need 500 total, according to the math I did last stream. So we bring this up there. And that's 240. This can actually then be 260, I guess. Or whatever other convenient numbers we want them to line up as. It could be 200 and 300, for example, if that's more convenient. Alright, but that's the coal setup. So next up, we need to get the iron, which is just south of me up there. And it's not that far away at all. So let's head up there. And I should just scan for this. It's going to be up there on that cliff, and then the other two are going to be over there. Alright, let's ladder up. Ladder up and see if we can find it just visually. Should be right by the Caterium, so I'll grab that as well. Yeah, there they are. An iron node and a Caterium node right next to each other. So we blow you up. And missing portable miners, we're gonna have to make some of those. Crafting bench, equipment workshop. And we're going to need a good couple of them because we also need to do the copper. So let's make a whole bunch of those. And I think I'll go up to 10 here. Should be enough. 8, 9, and 10. Alright, should be fine for now. I really want to automate this at some point. Alright. Why is it like this? Is it because some of these rocks haven't blown up properly? Let's just throw some more explosives around then. Okay, that sort of blew me up a little bit. Alright, I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but we're just gonna place it down. And yeah, that's weird looking. Definitely weird looking. Alright, bring the power up here. And power that on, it's 240, so that's, again, half of what we need. Then we have this Caterium node, which is 120. So we need to overclock this to 140. And then bring both of these back over. Alright, so that goes and that goes. Gosh, this would be another thing which would be vastly easier if I had access to Mark IV belts. It would just be one node each for this, with max overclocking. Alright, so that is going to have to go down there. But first we need to get it over the ledge, which means something like that. Something like that. And then these can go down. Alright, so that's those. So coal check, Caterium check, 1 of 2 iron check. So we need to grab 1 more iron and 1 copper. Let's scan for the iron. And it's just 200 meters this way. So let's fly on over. And bring our power tower with us. Oh, there's a Mercer Sphere. I will grab that, because you can never have too many Mercer Spheres. Up to 14. Alright, so now we climb this power tower. and get over here. And here we have another iron node. So we pop that in, we power it on. And this needs to be not 2,760, just 260 will be fine. And now we have to belt this over. And let's have it go there. A little bit inefficient placement. Is that another Mercer sphere? It is. I'll grab that one. Gosh, there's actually just a Mercer sphere every 5 feet in this area of the map.
I suspect there is a misunderstanding. The effigy and I are different entities.
Discordant. What is your
Alright, so we bring that.
I am an instantiated artificial intelligence inhabiting digital space. I am in the signals sent between satellites. I am hosted on servers and have no corporeal form, only synchronized cloud platforms.
Alright, that goes there.
It most certainly is, but not of me. They are, how should I put it? Extremely flat.
compatible music.
There we go.
New symphonies.
That is the rest of the iron down. And now we just need to grab the copper, which is slightly farther away. Yep, 300 meters this way. So we go over here. And just ignore the radiation. We'll be through it fast enough that it won't be a problem. And now we just carry the power tower along with us until eventually we see that it's too far. Or we freaking die of poison. Goodness gracious. I did not see that. Get out of here. Alright. Do a scan. And here it is. And there's also a Mercer sphere, so I'll grab... Ooh, it's on top of a giant pillar of uranium, and I'm pretty low on health right now. So I actually won't mess with that at the moment. Let's just get you all set up. 240 copper per minute is more than we need. So now we drag this back over this way. I don't know exactly where I'm going, but roughly in the direction of the space elevator, I think. Okay, now we have our power towers to guide us. Alright, now we can bring this along to there. And how do we get this to a sensible spot? And also, is it? Yes, it is producing properly. Good to see. Alright. So we can put that there. And can we just blow up this plant? Alright, there we go. Plant successfully blown up. Now we take this belt around and down there with some limestone. That's fun. We might use that limestone, just make pipes more efficiently. Wouldn't be terrible. Alright, then we bring this along. And please place properly. go. And there we go. Then this comes along as well. And we are almost out of the stage where we're bringing belts over rough terrain. We're almost at the point where we just can work in a factory without any of this weirdness. Alright, so then those just go over there. And now we bring these over here. And that one. And that one. Alright, so we have 2 copper belts. Two coal belts. 2 iron belts, a caterium belt, and a copper belt. So this is everything we need. And let's head over and grab that limestone. It's gonna mess with our ratios a bit because things will be more efficient, but having things be more efficient than expected is a good thing, probably. How much limestone is this? Yeah, it's a pure node. That's worthwhile. There you go. I guess I may as well make you 270. Please be the right number. Thank you. Alright. Now you can come along and do the whole limestone thing. So this is going to be for molded pipes, basically. And just drag this along. And down there. And there. And up. Right, now we just need to power that on. So let's bring a power line. Okay, apparently we had a other power line here anyways. So hook that up and done. Alright. So that's that. Now, could you not be clipping through my foundation, please? Please leave. I don't want to have to kill you, but you aren't leaving. Ah, yes. The Xeno Zapper being my only weapon at this point of the game is quite silly. It's just actually basically no point building anything else. Alright, he must be almost dead, right? Alright. Any second. Thank you. And he just dies in place.
Behavioral defect noted.
And he is still in the way. Okay. Mildly annoying, but fine. Alright, now for the actual production. So, how are we organizing this? We need a floor for the motors. And a floor for the pipes. A floor for the wire. And a floor for the raw resource production. So we have raw resource stuff down here. Then let's actually start building the floors. So we go up a little bit. And we get that. And I need a wall to travel up myself. Alright, so that is 3, and then a foundation. So this is a logistics floor, which can go up 2 layers just for extra comfy space. So that's raw resource production, logistics floor. And this will be wire production. And then followed by a logistics floor. And we go up. And we get that. And then we get a floor for the logistics. Then we have our steel pipe production and a logistics floor. And that goes up just a little bit more. Bring the ladder up. This is tall. Why is this so tall? And we get one more logistics floor. And then the top floor for the final production. Alright, so that's that. And I think we just make that wall a bit higher and the ladder go up a little higher so that it's easier to get up here. So, final production. We have a nice, big, spacious area here. And we are going to use it to place some assemblers. And they are, of course, motors. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost there. 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so that's that. Then we're going to need a little bit of space behind these for organizing them up into the sink and the box. So let's just put that space in, and I guess if we are working backwards, it would make sense to do that now. So we merge all of these up. And up they merge. Placing all this along. Alright, and then this is just a Mark 1 belt, which goes along. And then we have to hook all the machines up to it as well. Alright, machines get connected. And done. Alright. Then these will merge up into a storage container and a sink. So we need a little bit of extra space over here. And we get industrial storage container, smart splitter, which has decided to face the wrong way, smart splitter, and a little bit more space over here for an awesome sink. And left, overflow, center, any. So this is all set up. Now, we need to get the rotors and stators in. So, how much does this actually steel rotors is 5 per minute. And these need 10 per minute, so that's 2 assemblers of steel rotors per motor. And stators are the same. Alright, so I actually think the easiest way to do this is so it's going to be 4 assemblers per assembler, basically. And we just need 40 of these. It's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. I forgot to put the recipes in ahead of time. Oh well. So let's copy paste all of these over and then do the other 10. Alright, so how do I want to do this? I could do this in 4 rows of 10. So like 2 rows of each type, and then connect them all up either via logistics floor or just across. Yeah, let's do that. So this is a row of rotors. And do we actually have enough space back here to do this? I hope so. Should be enough space for at least a couple. How did you get up here? Go away. Leave. Alright, he's gone. How did he even get up here? Like, there's no way he made any of these jumps. But regardless, I'm just going to ignore that and assume he is just a parkour expert. So we expand this out. And need to get the spacing right on this. So you need floor holes down. And then the next one is going to need a floor hole down as well. And then apparently this whole thing is not wide enough, even though it obviously should be. So we get in like that, except not. Goes in like that. Alright, so then we're going to be using a bit of... We're going to using the logistics floor a lot here. That's for sure. So those are the rotors. These can be stators, I think, just for ease of like hooking these two up to that one. Although, actually, no. Let's go 2 rows of rotors, 2 rows of stators. Just nice and neat and organized like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these are all the rotors we need. Now we need an equivalent amount of space for the stators, which we do not have because this stuff is over here. Actually, I mean, we have a fair amount of space, actually. Hopefully that'll be enough. Can we fit that in? And that goes there. And that goes like there. Right, that fits, right? Yeah, that fits. But then this would be the last row. And we would still need another row after this for the rest of the stators. Alright, that's inconvenient. Now, if we were to go over there, it would be fine. Like, we definitely have the room for that extra row over here. So, what I think we have to do is rework these belts. Just a little bit. So we take those out. Take those out. Take those random conveyor poles out. And you just move over here instead. So you go there. You can cross over that, I guess. And then come over here. And then these are just going to have to go back down, and we're going to have to hook them up again. So that goes all the way down there. This one goes all the way down there. And we will worry about attaching them up to the last bit later. For now, we have this little bit of extra space. And we can do this. And that. And that looks like it'll all be over open air, so we won't have any problems with that. Alright, so these are not meant to be rotors, these are meant to be stators. And stators. So then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we go over here. And we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright. That's all of those machines placed. Next step is to wire them up to everything. So we need to first go in here and expand these rows of floor holes out. This would be so nice to be able to blueprint, but it's hard to blueprint things with floor holes. So we're just going to place all of these in. Alright, then we go and we put these in. And the dimensional storage upgrades are already proving their worth, as we are in no danger of running out of resources at any point. As long as we're only building this fast. Alright, so these go across. And all of these floor holes go in. this is going to require a lot of wiring up because it is a lot of machines. Then we turn around and we get these. Yeah, I could have made a blueprint for this with like the floor midway through it, and it would have been very convenient. But it's too late now. I'm 90% of the way done. So let's just get the rest of these guys in. And then put in the conveyor lifts. Alright. One more row here, and then... okay, technically one more row after this of the final outputs. Alright, then we go back here, and we get these ones. And these all go down. Stop it. Go there. Fallen off the back. Let's pop a ladder down to save ourselves. Soon we will have a jetpack and we won't have to worry about that nearly as much. Alright, so this goes across. And that's all those floor holes. So now we just have to put a conveyor lift in every single one of them. So these all get conveyor lifts. And this is going to take so long. Gosh, I wish I made a blueprint for this. It would have been so convenient. It's literally the same thing over and over and over again. Alright, so we get that whole row of inputs in, and I think I'm going to do all of the rows of input lifts, and then come back and do all of the rows of output lifts. Alright, so then those all go in. And we keep on placing them. Alright, just 2 more rows of these inputs, and then the outputs, which fortunately there are only half as many of. So we're like halfway done already. No, why would you do that? Don't do that. Go away. Alright, there we go. And we just go back to placing. Alright, and second now, almost done with this row. And then there's one more back here. Alright, I've fallen off again. Let me place a ladder and save myself. Alright, and back to placing conveyor lifts. Alright, now the output lifts. So these should have just snapped into there. And they keep going. And this is, yeah, I mean, really, this is quite compact as far as 40 assemblers goes. It's tough to do much better than this. Alright, then we go here. And what's going on there? That goes there. Keep on placing them. And sometimes you slightly click in the wrong place and it does the wrong thing. You have to back out. Alright, one more for this row. And that's that row done. Now we have 2 more rows to go. Well, 1 more row, definitely. I don't fully know if I'm even going to do the last row. Stop it. Don't do that. Alright, then these all go along. And they keep on going. And done. So now we have this last row, which I think I'll probably keep up here for now. So our next step is to go down to the logistics floor for this. Build it all the way out there. So let's go over here. Alright, now we need to build this along. And we're just going to get started with a couple of these heading in generally the right direction. Alright, I think I will bring all of them down just for regularity so they're all in one place. So we have all of these getting their floor holes. And like that, and like that, and done. Okay, now I almost left without putting the lifts in. So now they all get their lifts. And done. Alright, so now we drop down here. And we need to merge up the first 2 and the last 2 while leaving room for all of these to just go straight down and through to their designated floors as well. Alright, so let's build this floor out to cover the entire thing. And that's an improvement. Let's put that one in as well. And this one seems to be missing. Alright, so we have a nice, comfy logistics floor down here. So, the first thing this floor needs to do is pass these on down. And that's going to be a little bit... Those don't line up, do they? No, they don't. Be a little bit tricky to get that right. So those line up there. And go all the way down and through. Then these are lined up a little bit past that, and these are lined up a little bit past that, and then these are going to be a little bit further, and then these are going to be nice like that, and that, and that, and that, This is definitely the most irritating part of this, is that they don't quite line up with foundations, the assemblers. Alright, so we extend that out, and we just keep on bringing these along. So there and there, there and there, there and there. Alright. Now we need to do that for all of these rows. Which I can do by first just getting the line up there. Does that work? No, it's further back. So those line up there. And now I can at least do it just by looking in front of me instead of having to look up at the ceiling. This is much more convenient. As long as I don't get off the horizontal line, then this should be nice and quick. Ah. That is another problem which I perhaps could have anticipated that would happen. So you go all the way out to there. And make sure you go all the way out. And you go all the way out. Give you a bit more distance. And put a bit more distance in there as well. Alright. Where were we? Alright, we were doing this. So we get that. And that. And that. And that. Alright, then we do another row like this one, which is there. Yep, and so that's the correct line there. And we just line all of these up. And I really hope I didn't mess this up, because if I did, they're all going to be wrong. Alright, this is done. And one more. Oh, does that? Yeah. I was wondering why there weren't any there. Okay, that one needs... I almost forgot to put that one in. And just confirm. Yeah, that works. Cool. Alright, now we get back here. We line this one up like that, maybe. Yep. And now we go along placing all of these in. Alright. There's a ladder there. Let's move around that. And keep on placing. This is a very weird thing that's happening here. With, like, why does this require such a huge amount of assemblers? But I guess it makes sense. So now all of these go in. And we're just going to place them all so that we know that these parts are out of bounds. And also because we need to do this eventually. May as well do it in all one concerted moment. Alright, that ladder there is quite annoying. So these are bringing up the steel pipes and copper wire, which we will be producing on the lower floors, of course. So these all go along like this. And this is straining even my iron plates reserves, which is marginally worrying, but probably fine. Like the throughput is fast enough that even just taking like a reasonably quick break should refill. So these all go in. And they keep on going. Actually, I should have confirmed at some point that this is tier 1 belt possible, but it should be. It would be weird if these were more than a tier 1 belt. But we might have to upgrade like the wires. The copper wires might need to be a problem, but I doubt it. We'll check that later. Running through and upgrading a bunch of belts is relatively easy if it needs to happen. Alright, so that's all that. Now let's, I guess, check how fast these require stuff. 10 and 30... 15 and 40. Yep, all good. Alright. So, now we have all of those. Now we need to worry about these. So this is a row of rotors. This is a row of rotors. So we need to bring all of these down to this level. And trying to figure out how best to place this. So if we go there, can this slip through there and look decent? Yes, it does. Alright, so we need space in front of the front row for these to merge together. That would go something like that, and you would go in there. Actually, no, yeah, we do need to do it this way, just because we can't use more horizontal space than we have. Alright, so let's just bring all of these down. Down, and that's too far. Dismantle that and try again. And just two more. Alright, so now we have all of those. Next we put in the mergers, and I'm just going to do one more to make sure that these tile reasonably. Oh, we have to get this one in. So if this one fits in horizontally, then it should be fine. So that goes there, and then in there, and yeah, plenty of space. More than enough. Alright, so let's take a quick break. And, alright, quick break done. So now we have to bring all of these down. And then that will be that. A couple more. Feels like I'm expecting them to be more frequent than they are. Alright, so those are down. It would have been slightly more convenient if I had had these like slightly offset, but I think that also would have taken up more space, so it's fine. So then I think we will put all of the mergers in now as the next step. So mergers go in. All nice and lined up there. And done. Let's fill that in. Alright, now we put these belts into the mergers. And this is really quite complicated. I wonder if it would have been easier to just do a 1 to 10 splitter. To just like merge them all up and then do a 1 to 10 splitter afterwards. Maybe, but this is going to look quite cool, I think. Okay, so then we bring all of these up to this. I am a sucker for building things that look satisfying and neat, as opposed to just like generic splitter designs. Alright, so then that, and that. Now, these all go around and in. I wonder if curve mode would look better, but I don't know that curve mode would even work. Alright, so that is that. So we have merged up all of the rotors into their batch of 10. Now, we should, in theory, just be able to send these up, and that will be that. So then, we need to do the same thing with these, I guess. And yeah, the iron plate supply is definitely slowly dwindling. It would be nice if I could take a break and do something else at some point to let that recover. Or just, like, calmly work a little bit slower. So these all go in. And one more on this row. Done. Alright, so we have all of those. And then one more row of these. We're almost done with this section at least. So these all come down. And please snap in. These all come down. And one more. Done. Alright, so that's all of those lifts in. Now we need to... Okay, actually this is made considerably more tricky by the presence of these belts here. So we're going to need to do something like that. Bring you forwards. Then around and in. Or does it look better to just go directly here? Does that look better? Yeah, I would say that looks better, and it's easier too. So let's do that. Alright, so that is that. So now that we know that works, we can put all of these mergers in. So all the mergers go in. And gosh, am I missing the hover pack when I'm building things like this. It's quite painful. So these attach through. And I do think this is going to look really cool when it's running. And just keep on going. And just keep on going. And alright, so that's all those hooked up. Now we have to do these belts, which go from there to there. And from there to there. Actually, is that even right? Yeah, that's right. So they go like that. There to there. Do all of this in just like that. Setting up to do it in stages, as we typically do. And that goes there. And that goes there. And that goes there. Alright, so then this one is a little bit awkward because it pokes out over the edge a little bit, but that's fine. Not going to break anything. Alright, then all of these hook up. And then these are the ones that we already did. Alright. So we have both of these set up properly. Now what we need to do is bring them up here, I guess. Which... how are we going to do that? So I think it'll be easier to... well, let's try doing it all on the logistics floor. And then preserve the nice, clean, almost beltless floor up here. So that means that these are all going to get input belts. And then the logistics floor can go in. Alright, all of these. There we go. And now we put these in. And we really are going to run out of iron plates eventually. It's a good thing we upgraded the dimensional storage, or we would have been in serious trouble already. Alright, so now we have these. And we need to attach half of them up to these and half of them up to those, which... okay, I actually do have an idea for that. So we are going to obviously bring those two down. And... okay, this first one is facing the wrong way. Looks like all the other ones are correct. That's fine. Would have been awful if I had to redo all of them. It's just the first one that was created specially. So that goes in like that. And that goes there. Then this comes along here. And into that spot. And gosh, please line up normally. And then through there. And then in. Alright, it's a bit tricky. Especially with these mergers being in the way. But it works. And it shouldn't use up more space than we have, so that's fine. Let's place all of these lifts. All the lifts go in. And there we go. Just a couple more. And these go in. Alright. Then we will attach this front row in next. That goes into just every other one. And just keep sending these along. And yep, those are the last of my iron plates. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. We've used up all of those, and now we're just going to have to wait. So we are pretty massive progress here, though. Just a couple more belts, and then we will be completely done with the final assembly and the production of the things before final assembly. So iron plates are recovering. In the meantime, let's see. There's some power slugs and such around here. Let's head over and grab those. Please. Let me get up. Thank you. Alright, so you are mine. And let's also just get down a crafting bench and craft some SAM fluctuators. Because we, I believe, have enough Mercer spheres to technically do another upgrade. And if we don't, then we can use these fluctuators to unlock sloops, which can make power shard production more efficient, which would be very nice to have. So we're just going to be crafting away, waiting for our iron plates to recover. It is nice to take breaks like this every so often, although I wish they wouldn't be forced. Alright, so we have those. Now we plop a MAM down. Alien technology. Alright, technically we have enough, but it's gonna make our Mercer sphere selection a bit dicey. Let's just do this. So we unlock that. We need circuits.
Potential for harnessing alien energy completed. Fixit has identified 2 development tracks
Oh, we haven't
requiring
unlocked
additional
circuit boards
research
yet.
to integrate summer sloops safely and efficiently into
That's
Fixit technology.
in this,
The
right?
organ
Or
contains scripture, contains instruments to compose symphonies of
I sworn
root and
that was a
recycling.
Caterium thing, but
Shrines
apparently
to
not.
evolution and
Oh well,
evolution.
so we can't do that.
I see. It seems we truly are building understanding.
Alright, let's continue crafting SAM fluctuators. Alright, so we do some of that. There's another Mercer sphere over here somewhere. Let's go and pick it up. Where are you? Down here. How do I not see it by this point? Is it in a cave? Oh yeah, it's down in here, isn't it? Okay, well this will be a fun little exploration detour. Into the cave, grab the Mercer sphere.
All the veins to the altar
Done.
and chant.
And now we get out again. And I guess we have to ladder our way all the way back up. Fortunately, rods are not the thing we are limited by. So we ladder on up. And every so often place some more. So we can keep going. And where's the factory? How have I gone that far that I can't see it? It's quite tall. Okay, there it is. I was actually just incredibly low down. And I guess technically this ridge is almost as tall as the factory. Alright, So now we parachute back on over. Ooh, a summer sloop. That's fun. I'll grab that. Okay. The poison is a lot further acting than I expected. Also, there are a lot of spiders around. Let's blow that up. While we're being careful, go and blow that one up. And now we can grab the summer sloop. And done. Now we go over here. And that ladder is all messed up. But it should still work, probably. We can use it to get up. And yeah, ladder still works. Cool. And iron plates are up to 350. That's pretty decent, considering how long it lasted on like 100 iron plates left. Alright, so now we just have to get back to what we were doing. And let's see, so we had all of these set up. Now we need to get these across. So they go in like that. And then like that. And then in. So there, that, there, 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 and in. Alright, then there, come out to there, through this little gap, and in. Then we have this one, comes out through that gap, in through that gap, and then in. Halfway there. This one comes out to here, then into there, and then in. This one comes out to here, into there, and then in. 3 more. So this one comes out to there, through this little gap, and then in. And then this one comes out to there, through this little gap, and then in, and we've fallen off, and climb back up. Let's make this one wider to help prevent that from happening again. So then we have this one, which comes out through there, into what would be a little gap if there was something on the other side, and then in. Alright. So that is that all set up. So now we just need to make the steel pipes and the wire and put them into these, and we will be done. So, now we go down to this floor, and we're going to start expanding it out. So, off you go, and then definitely going to have to expand out this area back here. Might have to expand the area in front, too. Alright, so that all goes along. Let's expand all these out as well. Get these little gaps filled. Alright, then we come up here and we fill in these gaps. And I'm really liking how well this is fitting in, like, around the terrain. I think I did quite a good job there, much better than I normally do. At least so far. I'm saying that before I finish most of the floors, but the top floor at least works quite nicely. Alright, so let's just expand this out a little bit there. Alright, so we have all that. Next, we need to determine what we're putting on this floor. Okay, well, the next thing is that half of these stop at this floor, the other half don't. So what we need is something like that. That's not lined up at all, is it? No, it's the wrong side of the scene. So like every other one of these will just pass through this floor and keep going down. And so that one will stop here. This one will pass through. That one will stop here. This one will pass through. That one will stop here. This one will pass through. And we just have to make sure that it is every other one. And don't mess up and accidentally let two in a row go to the same thing. Which should be relatively easy to tell that that's happened just by looking at it, but you never know. Alright, now let's put the belts in for this first row. That'll confirm that we haven't made any mistakes before we start on this next row. So these all get belts that go down. This one was off center slightly. Then these just keep going. And these are going to be the wires, probably. Alright, and then the steel beams are going to come from here. And so these belts just stop here. And we'll be receiving steel pipes, which I can't remember exactly how many each one gets, but it's a good couple. Alright, and that is the first row, and seeing that, we're definitely going to need that to be a thing, so let's just put that in. And now we need to continue on with these. So that goes, is that right? Yes, it is. So that's lined up correctly, and now we have to make sure that the horizontal stays the same, and that these go in all the right spots. Is that right? That feels wrong. Yeah, that's definitely wrong. Alright, I messed up like instantly. So these all go one nudge back. Yep. Alright, then we just keep on sending them. One nudge back from the center. And aligned with those ones up front. Alright. Then these all come down. And it's actually going to be easier to send them up, I think. So I don't have to keep track of which one is which. No, that definitely didn't work properly. these all go up. And then these all come down. And we're going to have to set up a whole system for filling these. 500 pipes is a lot of pipes. And it's... I can't remember how many. Is it 8 per building or something? Or is it different for the wires, for the stators and the rotors? I think it's different for the stators and the rotors, which is annoying. Alright, so now we have to set up another row to do the same thing. So this is one back from that seam and down there. Alright, cool. Now we just keep on placing these. Make sure not to get off alignment. These all go in. I think we got off alignment there. Well, some of these are definitely off alignment. Actually, I think those two are both off alignments in different ways. Yeah, so I messed up that one and then overcompensated on this one. So that goes there. Alright, now these all go up. And we're probably going to have to take another quick break at some point in the near future because our belt supply is running low again. We really need one more upgrade for the dimensional storage so that that doesn't happen. Okay, actually, I just had a thought. So those two are rotors, these two are stators, so I think we actually want these belts to come down this way so that they can line up with a belt running through both of them. I don't know if this is right. We might take this out and replace it with facing a third direction later. But if this does work, it'll save the number of belts we need. Alright, so that's all of those. And iron plates are down to 40. So we are going to need to, let's get a crafting bench down and craft some more sand fluctuators, which is basically just a downtime activity to do. We need like 150 some to get the next dimensional storage throughput upgrade. And I don't even know if our supply of plates is fast enough. Like, I don't even know if I put the belt in right on the dimensional storage input that it would actually help. But we're going to have to do this at some point. May as well be now. So those all get crafted up. And done. Alright, iron plates are up to 104. That should be enough to finish this setup here, hopefully. We only need one more row, right? So, like, it's probably fine. Okay, so that has to go exactly on the line. And that should be relatively easy to follow. These all go across. And gosh, all these random ladders that don't do anything anymore keep getting in my way. Speaking of random ladders, I have to place another one in. And climb back up. And that goes in there. Alright, so now these all go up. have no idea to control which way the belt thing goes on these, so we're just going to let them do whatever. If it really bugs me, I'll fix it later, but it probably won't really bug me, so I probably won't fix it later. Alright, so we have all of those. Then we have these that are going to come down. And we're definitely going to run out of plates very quickly. Because like each of these is like 10. So yeah, we need another 30 plates to finish these last 3. And it feels like, is that 1 a second? Yeah, that's definitely 1 a second. Alright, that's fine. Seems to be working at least. Let's see, can we unlock this? We need just like 1 more batch of fluctuators. So let's get crafting these. By the time we have the upgrade, it should be all sorted out. All right, there we go. Up to 140 to 144. We have 60 iron plates, so we can finish this. Those all come down. And now we have all this. So these are the pipes, and we need to... Yeah, let's just finish this off. How many do we need? We need 151. And that's... we have enough to do that currently. 49, 50, 51. So now we go into alien technology. Upload, upgrade, 120 a minute. And again, I don't think I put the belt speed in for this. I think I have Mark 1 belts on some of these things.
Speed increased. The dimensional shift now no
But in the
longer
short term, it
cares
should
how
help.
complex the components of the original part are, and will save each part as a single collection
we can
of
definitely take
particles that can be
those
instanced
out now.
easily.
Grow shift the body core flow cycle song of the 5-layered shallow state.
I'm working on it, but
Alright, I
are
don't
you
need
saying there is another
those.
layer? Is it a sensor limitation?
Deepen.
All right.
Helpful.
So we have all of these. Now we need to figure out how many pipes go into each one. So that is going to require going up here. So the rotors are 10 pipes per belt, and the stators are 15. So this is 15 times 20 is 300. That's 10 times 20 is 200, adds up to 500. Good, the math is right. So we need 500 belts. Let's check how pipes come naturally distributed. So molded steel pipe, if we do that, which I think we might do because we do have some concrete available, would produce in batches of 50, whereas steel pipe would produce in batches of 20. The batches of 20 are quite convenient for the rotors, because that's just 1 constructor per 2 assemblers, nice and simple. The batches of 50, I mean, we could do underclocking and such for those. So a batch of 50, if we wanted to split that, could be 30 and 20. Like 30 going one way, 20 going the other. How much concrete would we need for that? So this makes 50, we would need 500. So then it would be 300 concrete, which is more than we have, I believe. So we would definitely doing it that way would complicate things a lot, having multiple different alt recipes, because we only have 240 limestone, which is only 80 concrete, so that would be like what, 150-ish, less than that, steel pipes, and the rest would be this recipe. And that's not enough to fully do either set. So I think we probably just ignore the concrete and go steel ingots all the way. So these are batches of 20. They're nice and convenient for both, because it's 1 to 2 for these that are batches of 10. And then for the ones that are batches of 15, it's relatively easy. You get 1.5 is 30, and then split that in 2 for 15. So let's do that. So we need batches of 10 for these ones, and these ones are going to be 300 total, which is more than a full belt. This is going to be 200 total, which is going to have up to 70 extra. So we can just customize the belts to do that properly, I think. Alright, so now we get down here. And we build these across, just so that we have all the room we need. And so these each get 2. So we could continue doing the way we've been. So there are 2 ways of doing this. The first way is you have a constructor here, you have a splitter here, and one goes there, one goes there, and then you would have 2 rows of 5, right? Like that, and then like that. The other way would be to have this splitter go around into that, and just continue having this be like 1 row of 10 along that way. So I'm trying to think. These are steel pipes. This is going to be this is going to require 300 steel ingots, which is more than a full belt. So having 2 lines of it would mean each line only needs, what, 100? Each line only produces 100, which means each line only needs 150 steel ingots. That seems more manageable. So just for that reason alone, I'm going to do this. So every other one of these gets a splitter. And I think that should go in there. Then these all get constructors, which we need to align with both of those. I don't know why this is given so much space. Probably shouldn't be given so much space, but oh well. Alright, then we take that and line that up. Alright, so now these constructors all go in here. And just to make sure, does this have enough room for this setup? So we need a splitter. We need a constructor. And we need the input for the constructor, which apparently will barely fit if I can get this to line up correctly, like just like that. And then outputs there, and that outputs there. Yes. All right. So that fits, and this is actually wrong. This is offset. So we can't have that one there. So we take that out. But the idea works. It's somewhat close, but it does work. So this one gets a splitter. We go back there. And give it a constructor, and I'm just rebuilding this to make sure that it all lines up properly. Alright, and now we're going to go through assembly line mode. So now we put in the splitters. Every other one of these gets a splitter. So then the next one is there. The next one is there. Next one's there. Wait, no, wrong. Next one is there. And the last one is there. Alright, now, I've realized in the process of building that these splitters aren't connected up to their belts. So let's get those through. And that's the wrong one. These have to be connected out that way. And so we get all of those in. And we will hook these up to the belts. Now, so those go in, those go in. That goes in, that goes in. There and there. There and there. So next up we get the constructors, which are just going to be nice and lined up with everything. And there. And there. And there. And the recipe's stuck. That's good. So now we put all of these through. And now we just need to get the floor holes and the conveyor heads in. So that, and that, that, and that. Then we put all of these in, and we are done. And now we have to get back here and put these ones in as well. So those all go in. Floor holes go in right underneath. There, 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 and there. Alright, so that is the first. So that's the rotors done. Rotors are now being given their steel. For the stators, it is harder. So for the stators, we need to basically get... How is this going to work? Okay, let's work backwards. So we have these two, which are going to split off from this. So this needs to be 30 then. Okay, we can do speed balancing for this. Speed balancing makes this quite simple actually, because these are 15. So we get, gotta get this set up correctly. that too close? Yes, that's too close for straight mode to not get confused. So then there's 15 going into this, which means that we pop that in. Then all of that hooks up. And this is then a belt connected by a belt of 60. And then, so that's 15, 30, 45, 60. So as long as this belt here is Mark 1, then this will work properly. And I do think I want these to be... which way do I want these to be facing? I think I want these belts to be facing that way. Just so that because this is not going to be enough space at all, right? Like, I guess maybe. So we pop in a smart splitter there. Yeah, no, absolutely not. So this would need to be what, like, one wider for this to fit in, but it isn't. And it would require restructuring like everything in order for it to fit. And I also think we might run out of space at the top. So we're just going to have to turn all of these lifts around so that they face the other way. And then we can use the full row for each of these. Alright, so these then come down like that. So let's just run through, dismantle all of these, which will conveniently refund a bunch of iron plates, which is always nice to have, considering we were struggling with them a lot earlier. Right, now we bring these down, facing this way. And down they go. Down they go. A couple more. Alright, there we go. So now we have all of these. And we just need to rebuild what I had previously facing this way. So we have that, which goes into those two. Then we have that. And that. And that goes into that. So this is our batch of 60, as we had previously. Now we just need to fill this out with 2 more of those. And it's going to be a nightmare if any of these, if I forget to connect any of these up, it's going to be very hard to tell. Alright, then this gets a splitter. Which sends it into those two. And then this gets a splitter, which goes into those two. But the other half of this is going to be those ones over there, like those last two on that line. Okay, actually, can we just do this regular balancing? So this is 60, 120, 150. So probably not. Probably regular balancing this is just a little bit too annoying. Which is fine, of course, that's what speed balancing is for. So we get smart splitter there. How's that lined up? Like that? Yeah, cool. Smart splitter there. And then that goes there. Alright, and I do think I want to hook this up to those two, so let's do that. Bring this belt around the outside. And then into those two. Alright, what if we have that just go directly there? That looks slightly better. Alright, and then that hooks up that way. Actually, that doesn't even need to be a splitter, because it's not going into anything, but it's fine being a splitter. It's obviously not going to break anything. So that goes in like that as a Mark 1 belt. That goes in there as a Mark 1 belt. And we set all of these to overflow any. And we set this one to the same, overflow any. And then this is handling 180, so that one is handling 120, so that just splits evenly from a Mark II belt. So this gets one of those, which goes into those two, and one of those, which I'm using too much space here, but that's fine. Goes into those two. Let's tear that down and move it ever so slightly closer in, just for the sake of being consistent with all the other ones that I've done. Alright, then that gets splitted there and there. So that is 60. Then we get another splitter there. Gosh, all these rings of a billion splitters are very funny. So then this gets a splitter there and a splitter there. And these all hook up there and there. And then this gets splitter there, which goes into that, and into that. And finally, into that. Alright. So that is all of the distribution for this setup. Now we just need to make a properly fast belt of 300 steel pipes. So we head over here, and this is going to be the space we're using for this, I guess, because it's the only randomly convenient space we have here. So we fill out this, sort of going along the edge of the cliff. And we get a constructor. This cliff doesn't like taper in super fast, right? No, it's pretty sharp. Alright, that's good. So then we get, say, a constructor there, making steel pipes. So this is 20 a minute, which means we're going to need, see, 10 of these is 200, 15 of these is 300. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, there's no reason to merge them up like that. We need 120. We need 120 there and 180 there. So we can just get the 6 of these and merge them up to a batch of 120. and then the other however many, which is going to be like 8, I guess, or 9 for the batch of 180. So that's 20, that's 40, that's 60. So I think it has to be a Mark II starting from here. Alright, so then that goes into that, and should be our 120 steel. And we are going to get ingots, of course, down from the logistics floor. So we put all these floor holes in. And hook them up. Alright, then we need another 9 of these to go into this particular splitter. So let's get those, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3. Alright, we're going to be using a lot of space here. This is ultimately not a small amount of constructors. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just a little bit more, 8, 9. Alright, not bad at all. Doesn't even stretch out fully, I mean, just about, right, to the edge of where the top floor of the factory was, so that's fine. Then we put the recipes in already, that's good. So now we just merge all of these up. And keep her going. And then they go out there instead of in. And then the main line here does not twist around like that. The main line is we're just gonna make it Mark III all the way along. We have no shortage of steel beams, and this will prevent some random crisis from happening where I count wrong. Alright. Then all of these go in. Alright, and then we have this, which is a belt of 180, which we bring all the way over here, and in there. Alright, so that is steel beams done from ingots. And we just have to put the input belts in. Okay, actually, here's a thought. How much do these use each? 30 apiece. And how much does solid steel make? 60 apiece. So it's going to be convenient to merge these up into batches of 2. So there's no point merging all of these up into a single channel or anything, or like a batch of 2 channels. Just sending them all down to the next floor will be much more convenient. It will mean more belts placed, but belts being placed is no longer really a meaningful bottleneck now that we have the dimensional storage upgraded again. Alright. So that's all of that, and all of those. Those being in batches of 5 is going to make grouping them up into 2s a little bit annoying. So let's see, that's 15 over there, this is 15 over here. So yeah, it's a little bit inconvenient that it works out that way, but ultimately fine. Alright, so now we have to go down another floor and make all of the wiring. And also transfer all of these belts down again. Oh, this is a logistics floor. Do we have anything we could do on the logistics floor? Yeah, we may as well batch the pipes up into batches of 2 while we're here. More convenient doing it on the logistics floor than doing it in some other place. Alright, so we just need to expand this out. We're going to need pretty much all of this space. Alright, so we have that. And we have to make sure we know what all of the belts are even doing. Alright, so these foundations are just about long enough. Have to fill in a couple of these gaps. And we're going to have to get rid of the trees, but that's fine. We knew we were going to have to do that. Alright, so next we need to find our way back up. Okay, we actually do need to put foundations all the way over here for these to floor hole through. As silly as it feels to put foundations whose only purpose is to have a hole in them. It will be helpful for nicening it up later. Alright, so those go across. And we need foundations in this area. And this ladder does nothing. So goodbye. Alright, so we have all of these belts now. We need to figure out which ones are doing which, because some of these are steel ingots, some of these are wires. Alright, so this first row is all of the steel ingots, so it just goes directly down. So that, and that. Oh right, I discussed that I was going to collect these up on this floor rather than doing it elsewhere. Yeah, let's do that then. So that's one batch of steel ingots. These 5 are another. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, so I'm not sure I actually need to use these floor holes. So what I want to do is make these batches. So I can just line these batches of 2 up across each other and have that be 5 batches of 2 each. And then deal with these separately. But then the other thing we need to do on this floor is, of course, the wires. So the wires are going to be on the next main floor. So these need to come straight down and through without being messed with here. Alright, is that lined up? No, that's not right. No, it's one off to the other side. So those go down like that. And these are all the wires, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, if there were more stuff there, there would be 20 of them, but there isn't. Alright, so these go in there. That's not lined up. Should be there, right? Yep, so those go down that way. Then this one goes, again, not lined up. Goes one off the center. This one is right in the corner. Then there's this one, which is right on the line itself. This one is right after the line, and they're just going to proceed like that, I think. This one off. And then we have this one, which is there. Alright, so we have all those. Now we have to... Is this really all of these? All of these are wires? Yeah, I guess so, right? 10. Is there 40 assemblers that use wires in this giant factory? Alright. This factory is not the worst in terms of material resources, but boy is it insane in terms of the amount of buildings. Like, none of these guys are remotely quick buildings. Alright, so that lines up. Yeah, so now we can get it on that line. And place all of these. And not have it go slightly offline every time I move too far. So these all go in. No, that's not centered at all. There's one more. And there. So now we drag these down. And those are all the wires, which we will be dealing with next floor. So this is the last time we're going to have to do something like this. Alright, then we have to get these ones, which are just like, no, not that, like that. Yes, so one after the line, and then lined up with the ones in front. So all these go in. And keep going in. For the first couple of these, I was able to get this to place like perfectly every time. That is not happening now. Alright. Now we drag these belts down. And keep them going. And I believe there's one more set after this. Yep, one more set after this one. And then we will finally be done with this gigantic batch of 40 belts. Let's expand that out so I have room to stand. Expand that out for the same reason. Alright, so we get this one, which is directly on this line. And lined up like that. Does it work? It works. Alright, so then we just have to put all of these on. And we keep on placing. Yeah, problem is I'm not walking like completely straight relative to the grid. No, that's not lined up. Need one more tick to the left. And there. Then all of these go in. and it decided to go in the right this time for no apparent reason. These things have a mind of their own. It's not at all consistent. Alright. So that is all of the wires sent down to the bottom floor. Now we just need to do this whole splitting thing with the steel ingots. So, I think we take these out. Take those out. And these just come down like this. 3, 4, and 5. And we do the same thing over here. Take these out. And then these come down and I think face this way. So these all point this way. And I think what I do is pop a splitter in, and then just, I mean, there's no way that this is going to break anything, right? So we just do that. And I hope that I set that up correctly. So we get all of these splitters in as well. And one more there. So then we can connect these guys all up. And these guys all up. And those. Alright, now we put the floor holes in. There. 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 And there. And are those even facing the right way? Yes, they are. Alright, so if something doesn't work, this might be the problem, but it should work. Alright, so now we just have 5 belts of 60 each going down there. That should help with the steel on that side, and we actually do the same thing over here, which we'll basically do the same way. First, we bring all of these down. And then we just split them up and then send them down into new floor holes. Alright, so all of these, almost there. And I believe there's one of these that's going to be loose, but that's fine. Can't win them all. Alright, so that has to go in default mode because it's so close. Then all of these, right, they go every other. Like that. And that, that, and that, and then that's going to be the special snowflake one that doesn't, that's only going to be 30, which we will deal with when we get down here. So that has its 2, this one gets its 2, that one gets its 2. So, does this actually not math up right? Yeah, it doesn't. Alright, cool. Just had to make sure that there wasn't some horrible mistake there. Although it's weird that that's 0.33. Is it just going to be a weird remainder? Because it should be... Hang on. Steel pipes. This uses them in batches of 30. And the steel ingot production makes them in batches of 60. So it's weird that it's saying that 20 left over, because this should be 30 left over, right? But I don't know. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That seems wrong. That seems very wrong. What have I done there? So 12 times 20 is 600, not 500. What? Am I losing my mind here? So this is 60, 120, 180, 240, 300, 360, 420, 480, 540, 600, 660, 720, 750? Oh yeah, no, 750 steel ingots. I have the notes there. It's 500 iron ingots, because it's more efficient. Yeah, and then 750 steel ingots makes 500 pipes. Alright. Crisis averted. We did actually do the math right yesterday, which is almost always the case. Like, I almost always get the math right the first time and then second guess myself incorrectly. But it never hurts to second guess yourself and just confirm that you're doing it right, because I did make a mistake in the automated, I think it was the automated wiring factory. It might have been the flexible framework one. I did make a mistake there with a splitting at some point. Just always make sure you're doing things right. Alright, so those all go down there. And so that tidies that up relatively nicely. And the wiring goes through here. Actually, is there anything we can do to make the wiring better on this floor? So wire, fused wire, comes out in batches of 90. And that is the one that we're doing. So if fused wire comes out in batches of 90, then how much per thing do we need? Because if we need to mess with the ratios at all, it would be that floor that we do it in. So the rotors require them in 30s. And the stators require them in 40s. 40 is relatively annoying. Alright, so we can do the 30s by batching them up into 3 groups of... So we can batch these up into groups of 3, right? So that would be 90 there, 90 there, 90 there, and then 2 left over from these 2, which would just be a batch of 60, which is easy to force. And then these, so the 40s we could force the 40s to go into batches of 120, and then split the 120 into 3. So that would be like 3 fused frames go into 4 belts, which is not that hard to do. We would have to split a third off of each. So yeah, so we're definitely going to need to do some messing around with the wiring here. So let's start with the rotors. So those are just going to be split into batches of 30. So we get down here to this. And don't go too far down. So we have these, right? And we just take them down, merge 3 of them up, and then send it down. Yeah, that should work. And we're going to have to figure out what we're doing about the other ones in a bit, but... So these go down. It's not a merge, technically it's a split, but same thing. So these 3 come down, and those don't get floor holes. And they get a splitter there, which sends them into that one, and that one. And then this just goes down. Alright, so we have to do that another couple of times to get this one, and that one. So we get those 3, and we get a splitter. And that's all lined up, which is helpful. Not necessary, but helpful. Alright, then we take these 3, merge them up, and they're going to have 1 spare little guy left over. Supposed to be taking the floor holes out. It saves time, but overtaking the lift out and then the floor holes, because it takes both out simultaneously to do it that way. The time save isn't that important, but it would be marginally helpful. Alright, so then those 3 go down and into that. Alright, so then we have this one, which I assume we're going to be trying to wrap up into a group of 90, although 1400, I assume, doesn't evenly distribute into 90, so we're not going to be able to do that perfectly. Alright, let's worry about that later. For now, we just have to do it again with these. So, floor holes out. And lifts down. It would be marginally helpful if I knew where the machines were going to feed into these. But it's the price of doing it from top bottom, is that you don't always know those things. So these 3 go in, floor hole, and splitter. And then we take out these 3, and they come down. Because like it might be that I want to have these facing that way and overlapping with those a little bit for convenience. Okay, no, that doesn't go there. We get a splitter, which feeds... Why? Why would that be the default path? Alright, because this is very slightly closer up than that one, so let's just move that back to compensate. And then those 3 go in, and the lift goes down, and that goes in. Then we take these 3 out, bring these belts down. And splitter in. How is that supposed to be lined up? Like that? Yeah, like that. Works. And then those go in. And floor hole into the splitter. Alright. So that is that for all of these guys. There's just these two at the back, which we're gonna have to figure out what to do with. We could split them together as a batch of 60, or we might be able to work them into one of these things. Alright, so we have these, and these also form up into batches of 3, but it's 120 instead of 60. And that's the only difference. Oh no, it's 120 instead of 90. So these batches of 3 would be belt speed based and not output based, so that's something to keep in mind. So let's start with these, I guess. Those come out. This drops down. 1, 2, 3. And then we get the splitter, which goes there, there, and there. And Mark II belt going into them. Alright, so then we take these 3 out. 1, 2, 3. Put the splitter in. And we should probably be making this more like assembly line like. Just do all of one thing and then all of another thing. Also, I've made a mistake on placing that. So let's do that for the last couple. So we are going to put in all of the splitters. So that gets a splitter. That gets a splitter. I guess it doesn't really matter for this one because it's a new line. And then that goes there with that batch of 3. Wait, no it doesn't. Did I do this right? Yeah, so that gets that batch of 3. This needs to go here for its batch of 3. And is that lined up properly? No, it is not. So that goes there. And finally we get this one in, which goes there. Is that lined up? Yes. Alright, next up, we take out all of these. So these all come out. Oh, not the last one, though, because I still haven't decided what to do with them. Alright, so all of these come out. Then we put all of the belts down and into it. So we are running out of time on the stream, so we're not going to finish here today, unfortunately. Wasn't really honestly expecting to. I was hopeful, though, and that hope has been dashed. Well, we're just going to keep working and do what we can. So all of these come down. And the bottommost layer always looks higher than it is. So I always think there's one more you can go below it, but there isn't. Alright, so then we have all of those. And this one is lined up wrong. So that goes in there. And now it's so slightly lined up wrong the other way. So it goes in there. And now it's lined up wrong this way again. Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. Like I'm actually going insane. Alright, that goes there. That, and that. Cool. We did it. That's the special one, which I don't know what I'm doing with yet. This one gets that, that, and that. This one goes there, there, and there. This one goes there, there, and there. Alright, now we put the floor holes in and send all of this down to the bottom floor. So we do that, we go that, and that. And now these are all Mark IIs because they're 120 speed. So all of this goes in. And there we go. Alright. So we have all of that done. Now we just need to think about these last couple. So we have 40 plus 80. 40 plus 40 is 80. Plus 30 plus 30 is 140. So we have 140 left over here. And how do we deal with that? Is there a convenient way? We could make them into 2 batches of 70, which wouldn't really help at all. Or we could just make them into a batch of 60 and a batch of 80, which I think is what we're going to do. We're just going to do the best that we can with these, I guess. Alright, that's something completely different. I was wondering what that belt was for. They all look the same. Okay, none of the belts have anything on them. It's very easy to get confused about which belt is doing what. So these 2 belts come down. And they get a splitter like that, which just goes in there. So that's 60. And then these 2 belts get the same thing, which is a belt there. And in there, and in there. And they have to be Mark II to get up to 80. Alright. So, that is all the splitting for the wires. So they've all been nice and organized up. So now what we need is to just go and make the wires. But it is currently 4:45. So I'm realistically not going to finish that within the next 15 minutes, right? Like, that's just not happening. Also, this power tower is right here. Not ideal. So let's just, like, build the floor. May as well use this time to do something, but I'm not gonna finish this today. We're going to build all this out and then set up the wire production next time, which, okay, that's slightly a problem. So we need that to go there. We need to blow up a whole bunch of trees. So let's just fill in as much of this area as we need to. So yeah, we need to get to around here. This area over there is just kind of extra. We need to get on this side. We need to get out around this area. A bit more there won't hurt anybody. And then we just keep expanding this out. And then I'm going to throw a bunch of bombs everywhere and see if that makes this less of a nightmare to look at. Alright. First of all, right down there. Second of all, over there. Missed the tree I was aiming at. Hit some other stuff though, so that's nice. Alright, so let's get rid of you guys. And make sure to just throw them far enough to not die in the blast myself. That would be rather embarrassing. Alright, and these ones over by the side should probably go as well. And let's just get those ones while we're at it. And this one, too. Alright, and grab this power slug. Alright, now we get back up onto the foundation, see if we missed any trees. Ooh, like this one. There we go. And now we go back up here. Right, that was the logistics floor. And up onto this. So we're going to need to move that power tower, but other than that, and a couple more trees around the edges back here. Like that. Alright, that should be fine. We shouldn't need this space back here, although obviously we might. Alright, so we are going to call it a day here, I think, and we need to take all of these assorted things and turn them into wire and steel ingots, and then there shouldn't be any major catastrophes. Everything's gone well so far, and assuming that there are no major catastrophes, we should comfortably finish this tomorrow, and then we can get the jetpack and fuel and all that fun stuff. So yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. I had a lot of fun here. I will be streaming on Monday again, where we will be finishing this off. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stop by. Follow if you haven't already. And I will see you guys later.